Texas and Clemson playing at 3 p.m. in Austin, Texas. Texas coming in at 11-2, both losses to Georgia. Clemson coming in at 10-3 off of their 56-yard walk-off to win the ACC championship game. Both teams are 2-1 over their last 3 games. Let's get into kind of the resumes of each of these two teams. So, Texas has the 20th strength of schedule in the country. Clemson is the 35th. Texas's point differential is plus 21 to Clemson's plus 11. Texas is at almost 450 yards per game on offense, giving up just 250 on defense, whereas Clemson is having about 400 yards per game, and they're giving up about 360. So, I mean, you look at this on paper, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, okay, Texas really should be able to get in there and dominate this one. But we'll kind of dig into why I think that will or will not happen, and some of the keys I have for the game on this one. One of the things I want to look at in this one is, can Texas run the football? So in the 2 losses so far on the year, Texas has been held under 30 yards rushing against Georgia. Now, in the 2 games prior to Georgia, they kind of been figuring things out on the ground. They ran for over 200 yards against Kentucky and Texas A&M. So they're going to need another similar type performance. I don't know if they'll need quite 200, but I think between the trio of running backs and Quinn, maybe Arch, I think they definitely need to get over 150 yards on the ground just to create that balance. It also takes some pressure off the defense because they'll have a little bit longer drives, more sustained drives, and then it'll give Quinn time to sit back and run play action passes where he'll have time to throw and really dissect this Clemson defense. So I think running game is going to be a really important thing to look at in this one. Now, I think if Clemson is able to hold Texas under 100 yards on the ground, I think that will really kind of tip the scales in the Tigers' favor. I think if they're able to then not worry about the run and just kind of tee off on Quinn Ewers and kind of get creative with some blitz packages and force him to make some throws that he's uncomfortable with. So that's when Quinn has struggled the most. If you can get him out of his rhythm and off timing, that's when he makes the most mistakes. If you let him sit back there, no pressure, he'll pick you apart. So that'll be key for Clemson in this one. In their 3 losses on the year, Clemson has given up 267, 210, and 169 on the ground. That's kind of where that 150 number came in. I think if Texas is able to get to that 150 number, they'll be able to hand Clemson their 4th loss on the year. Clemson is going to need to make some big plays against this Texas defense. That's really kind of their MO. They make a couple big shots here or there, and then they're able to capitalize on those big plays and momentum and turn those drives into touchdowns. They had 4 plays against SMU of 20 yards or more. 2 of them went for touchdowns. So they're going to need a lot more of that against this Texas defense. Now, Texas' defense is a whole different animal than SMU's. They give up just 143 yards through the air on the season. They're one of the top defenses against the pass in the country, and they give up the least amount of explosive plays. They're really good at limiting explosive plays on defense and forcing you to drive the length of the field. So I think for Clemson to use this in their advantage, they're going to need to have more than a few plays. And when they do get the big plays, whether they go for touchdowns or not, they need to capitalize and get points. I think Clemson really needs to turn this into a shootout in order for it to run in their favor. And the explosive plays is one way for them to do that. Now, if Texas can play stellar defense like they have all year, I think that will be a non-factor. Texas, like I said, they give up the least amount of big plays on the year. If they force Clemson to have to put together consecutive drives, moving the ball up and down the field, the whole length of the field, they don't let them get the big play, I think that definitely favors Texas. So with all that said, I think Texas's defense is just too good I think they're going to show up, and I think they're going to really limit what Clemson is able to do on offense. And I think Texas's defense is able to figure it out. The last few games have shown, or in Clemson's losses, they were susceptible to the run, and I think Quintravian Wisner is going to be able to move the ball, and I expect to see potentially some more arch packages in this game to kind of create some balance and move the ball on the ground, take some pressure off Quinn and this passing game. And if Texas is able to do that, I see no reason why Texas won't win this one and advance to play Arizona State in the next round.